Hey, good morning. This is Home Inspector Dan. I'm up in Phoenix, Arizona, up in the north part of the city. We're looking at a house about 40 years old, about my age, so yeah, got a few problems here and there. Up on the roof right now, taking a look around. We've got some issues with drainage, got some issues with ventilation. I haven't been in the attic yet. I haven't done a full inspection of the inside, but I'm up on the roof and I wanted to show you guys something. Take a look at the structure. The structure is going to be the trusses that are below the concrete tiles. So you can see how wavy this is. So every area that's pushed up is likely a truss, and the sheathing around it is likely started to sag. We're going to get up in the attic here in a few minutes, take a look at it. This is one of the worst spots right here. Look at that big dip. Now, these concrete tiles are heavy, hence why we put electrical panels on the outside of the house. So if the house starts on fire, the electrical, or the fire department can turn it off without worrying about getting crushed. I'm a little worried about walking on this, to be honest with you, but big old crack through the back of the fireplace. Definitely needs some cleaning. You can see all this soot up here. Stucco chimney, no major issues. 30 inches, we'd like to see a cricket back here. You're right about that. It's not that huge of a deal. We've only got a couple layers of shingles above it. Likely not much water runoff. All of the valleys here today are going to be filled with a bunch of debris all over. These tight valleys like this have a tendency to collect debris and hold it. Not only that, we got to cut this ficus tree back. The tree is getting a little bit big for what it is. Look at this big bump right here. Roofs aren't supposed to have that big of a change in it. Oh, we got another broken tile. And over on the side of the garage, I'll look at some more of that debris in there. And you can see in the driveway, there's been some settlement. Over the years, your drainage has been probably a little bit lacking. Excessive moisture in this area causing a lot of these cracks. Out on the outside there, cracks along the inside. Those two slabs right there are original. Looks like all these were added at a later date. Front yard, the grass looked great. Main water meter there up the front. And the sidewalk going down the side of the house actually looked really good today. When they're right next to the lawn like that, they can usually show some settlement or deterioration, but this one looks really good. One thing I'd be a little bit concerned on is this is the north side of the house and it doesn't dry out, so if you do get a lot of water in there, it's never going to dry out. Moisture buildup. So let's just pop one of these tiles up and see what they did for underlayment. There we go. Underlayment's been replaced not that long ago, likely within the last couple of years. I would ask the seller to give you some information pertaining to that. Maybe you can see those divots a little better back here. Just really bad. Excessive moisture will get into that sheathing, and then the sheathing will start sagging over the top of those trusses because the trusses are much stronger. And even the ridge is a little wavy. God, that's a big divot. Looks like somebody dropped a ball on it, to be honest with you. So there's a couple spots here with different colored shingles. The shingles down on that first course down there are different, rougher texture, and then all the shingles over there are different from the original shingles, but the original shingles look good. Alright, let's hop down and look around the house. There's a mineral paper cap sheet over your ridges that'll help protect moisture from getting in around these ridge areas, which is a big penetration where you can get moisture in, and it's exposed, so putting that thicker material in there is a good thing. So we'll see on the front side of the house when I get down here what kind of settlement has happened on the front. Got this big tree, got a lot of water, got a lot of roof runoff in this area. Take a look at this down here. I'm up here in a little cavity above the primary bathroom. It's where we got the air handler for the main floor. Looking around up here, looking at some debris, some of the drainage systems, the vent pipes that go up to the roof, down to the plumbing in the primary bathroom down there. One of the biggest things I'm noting in here is there's absolutely no ventilation. So if this were to create a roof leak, or if the AC were to build up some moisture in that pan again, there's nowhere for it to go. You can see somebody patched a piece of drywall right there. Interesting way of patching it, but I'm sure it worked. But I'm worried about moisture up here. That sheathing like we looked at on the roof. It's got a massive beam. For structure though, beam looks good. So we're below the front of the house where the front flower bed was. I'm looking up here at the ceiling in this little bedroom down here, and I'm seeing all the floor joists from above showing up or displaying through the ceiling in this bedroom. So we've likely had some moisture out front because we could see because of that wall. But just looking a little bit closer at the wall down here, it actually is bowing. We've got a high spot in the middle, shining a flashlight down the wall. It's not, the beam isn't staying connected to the wall the whole way down to the floor as it should. Definitely got some movement there in the wall. So hydrostatic pressure, that all that moisture up front, the front of the house, the rain gutters dumping down. We need some better drainage out there. But right now, for my buyer, they need to get a structural engineer in here because that's a lot of movement. That's a lot of a bowing wall. We've got other signs of movement. Certain areas that are moving around that aren't straight anymore, that should be straight. Here's your egress. In case of a fire, you can get out of there. That's sealed in like a jail. There's no way to get out of that. There's no way to get out of these windows because they're locked shut. Both that window is locked shut. This window's locked shut. So if anybody's down here during a fire, goodbye. Done. So this is the area in the front of the house where we've got some excessive moisture. You can even see this brick full wall in the front. I don't know what's beeping at me. Load controller. Nice. So anyway, starting at this wall, you can see down here that we've got plywood. Exposed plywood pushed down into the ground behind the stucco without a weep screed on there, so that wood is being pushed directly into the soil so termites can tunnel directly up through that. But then we're also looking at the shifting, the movement, the cracks. Really small, really big. Gap right there. Movement, shifting, loose. If you look down the whole front of the wall, it doesn't look too bad, right? Looks pretty straight. Got a nice little bevel here so water gets on here, it can shut off. This whole thing is splitting away all the way down. All the way down, it's loose, so it's coming forward. So if this wall downstairs is actually bowing from moisture, we have excessive moisture on here pushing it, and that's pushing this wall in and out. So kind of like that. At least that's what I'm assuming. Like I said, get a structural engineer in here. He'll be able to take a look at that. This might be a little bit complicated to fix that because you've got drain pipes coming out there. Steel drain pipes, and ABS cleanouts. Got ABS cleanouts on that side as well. But this is the drainage or the issues with settlement that I really wanted to speak about today. As you can see, the roof draining into that little gutter there without a downspout, going right into this area here. So the roof water, as little as it may seem in that area, it's actually leaving a huge hole down here. And that's 6 inches deep. That's directly from that water coming off the water spout there, or that gutter. You get all this moisture down in here, and this is the north side of the property, so we're never going to get any sun. So this is just going to build up with moisture, until you start getting some settlement from all the weight of the building materials start pushing into the ground. As you can see, the steps have taken a turn for the worst. They've dropped down to the right. Everything's kind of moved a little bit, both the patio and the stairs, and the patio stairs up there. Not only that, but that's starting to crack out a little bit right there. So there's quite a few different signs of movement going on here at this property today. It's pretty easy for me to chalk this up to a structural engineer. I mean, it's no doubt that grading and drainage caused all of this. Look how low that is. But I'm not the guy to fix it, and I'm not the guy to tell you how much it's going to cost to fix it. I'm just the guy that points out all the problems. So I get a structural engineer in here to determine what's causing it, what the damage is, and what the cost for repairs are going to be. This ficus tree is huge. It's beautiful. Keep it trimmed. You're going to have more maintenance because of it, but it is nice. I wouldn't want to dig it up just to get rid of the maintenance. But you've got some bumpiness, some waviness. These pavers have moved around. More plumbing cleanouts there. See, this wall is fine. A little cracking on top, but it hasn't been repaired. It's not pulling away. Irrigation controls are exposed. We just got to get that ficus off the roof there. And we don't have any clips on our fascia here to kind of hold these together. So what will happen is these boards will warp over time. Sometimes you can put a middle clip right there that kind of holds them together. They always fall off, but it does help to some extent. But see, we've got no ventilation in our soffits. There's no ventilation on the roof surface. Our attic just doesn't have any ventilation today. It's no wonder we have all that sheathing moving around up there and moisture issues at the front. That's a warped fascia board if I've ever saw one. So I just got up into the attic above the garage. This is just a small space because we have vaulted ceilings over the rest of the home. This is a little storage area they built above the garage to store some stuff. Very random plumbing vent right here going up through the roof surface. We've had a little bit of staining around it. It's just strewn right across the attic, right above your attic hatch, so I had to push it out of the way just to open the freaking hatch. That doesn't make any sense. Electrical wires, not too concerned about. A little bit of water staining in some areas on the roof structure. You can see some of it there. This is plywood, so this is likely original. Most roofing companies would replace all this plywood with OSB like that now. I like to see it a little bit better, but again, we have no ventilation. There's no vents on the soffit. There's no ridge vents. There's no turbines. There's no vents built into the sheathing to just ventilate this space. So we got to come through here and check all these boards for any type of movement or damage. There's a little bit of a crack right there. Going through. Some supports. So we do have some mildew evidence down there. Those little black stains, black spots. It's telling me there has been moisture up here before. Those little black areas aren't really concerning. It's more of a just indicator to me that you've had some moisture up here, and it'd be a good idea to increase your ventilation, put some soffit vents in. Looking for any water stains. Of course, this is garage, so we don't need insulation up here. The other attic area, we did need insulation. We didn't have it. Electrical wires running right next to the hatch, right over the hatch, right like that. So I push up the attic hatch to get in here, and I'm pushing electrical wires out of the way just to get up here. Not only that, but that plumbing stack. Try to get back here in the corner and take a little bit better look. Definitely had some water staining right here. Roof leak at some point. A little bit more shake off from the roof repairs. Yeah, there's more of that water staining over here. You can see it's been puddling up right in that area. Likely coming from right there. Water stain, water line, big ponding area. Even the soffits up here show a little bit of water staining. Yeah, right there. Definitely some water staining. That's about it.